Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Yashodanandana Prajajanandana Yashodanandana Prajajanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yadada Madhava Kunjadihari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Puripuracharya Ashtottara Satasi Srimad His Divine Grace by Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda ki Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Shri Prabhupada ki, Prabhupada Anuga ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nittai Guru Premanande. All glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees. All glories assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Shri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Prayers by Queen Kunti, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 37. Apyadhyanastvam swakrite hita prabho jihasasi svit sukrudo anujivina yesham nacha anyat bhavatah padambhuja parayanam rajaso yojitam hasam. Text 37, you have it in your this thing. Apyadhyanastvam swakrite hita prabho Jihasasi svit sukrudo anujivinah Yesham na cha anyad bhavatah padam bhujat Parayanam rajasu yojitam asam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. O my Lord, you have executed all duties yourself. You are leaving us today, though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us. Now when all kings are at enmity with us. Purport. The Pandavas are most fortunate because with all good luck, they were entirely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. In the material world, to be dependent on the mercy of someone else is the utmost sign of misfortune. But in the case of a transcendental relation with the Lord, it is the most fortunate case when we can live completely dependent on Him. The material disease is due to thinking of becoming independent of everything. But the cruel material nature does not allow us to become independent. The false attempt to become independent of the stringent laws of nature is known as material advancement of experimental knowledge. The whole material world is moving on this false attempt of becoming independent of the laws of nature. Beginning from Ravana, who wanted to prepare a direct staircase to the planets of heaven, down to the present age, they are trying to overcome the laws of nature. They are trying now to approach distant planetary systems by electronic mechanical power. The highest goal of human civilization is to work hard under the guidance of the Lord and become completely dependent on Him. Highest achievement of perfect civilization is to work with valor, but at the same time depend completely on the Lord. Pandavas were the ideal executors of this standard of civilization. Undoubtedly, they were completely dependent on the goodwill of Lord Sri Krishna, but they were not idle parasites of the Lord. They were all highly qualified both by personal character and by physical activities. Still, they always looked for the mercy of the Lord because they knew that every living being is dependent by constitutional position. Perfection of life is, therefore, to become dependent on the will of the Lord, instead of becoming falsely independent in the material world. Those who try to become falsely independent of the Lord are called anatha, or without any guardian, whereas those who are completely dependent on the will of the Lord are called sanatha, or those having someone to protect them. Therefore, we must try to be sanatha, or that we can always be protected from the unfavorable condition of material existence. By the deluding power of the external material nature, we forget that the material condition of life is the most undesirable perplexity. The Bhagavad Gita, therefore, directs us that after many, many births, one fortunate person becomes aware of the fact that Vasudeva is all in all, that the best way of leading one's life is to surrender unto Him completely. That is the sign of a Mahatma. All the members of the Pandava family were Mahatmas in household life. Maharaja Yudhishthira was the head of these Mahatmas, and Queen Kunti Devi was the mother. The lessons of the Bhagavad Gita and all the Puranas, specifically the Bhagavata Purana, are therefore inevitably connected with the history of the Pandava Mahatmas. For them, separation from the Lord was just like the separation of a fish from water. Srimati Kunti Devi, therefore, felt such separation like a thunderbolt. And the whole prayer of the queen is to try to persuade the Lord to stay with them. After the battle of Kurukshetra, although the inimical kings were killed, Their sons and grandsons were still there to deal with the Pandavas. It's not only the Pandavas who had put into the condition of enmity, but all of us are always in such a condition. The best way of living is to become completely dependent on the will of the Lord and thereby overcome all difficulties of material existence. Omakyanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanavitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesh Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. We are continuing reading Kunti Devi's prayers. They are so full of meaning, purpose, and devotion. So, Kunti Devi, like I said, is expressing her feeling. She's expressing her feeling that you will not be physically present with us. And you're leaving us now at a time when we have created so many enemies. And all of them will work against us. And of course you have done everything perfectly. You have done all your duties wonderfully. But you must know that we are all very dependent on your mercy. And we have no one else to protect us. So why is it necessary that somebody will ask and think, why is it necessary that Kunti Devi is even speaking this? She is previously in the shloka said that you have only protected us. Abhirakshitaha Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darsharat Mride Mride Aneka Maharatastato Drauni Astratashtashma Hare Abhirakshita. You only protected us. It also means that you on your own will protect us. You on your own will protect us. But now she's telling, what will happen to us? You see, just in this whole shloka how it is changing. What will happen to us if you go? So Prabhupada is saying that Prabhupada is trying to keep him here by saying this. See, subtle nuances of the feelings and the tricks that people employ naturally in emotional interactions. But here you can't call it a trick. You can say that you're very powerful, you're the Supreme Lord, Namaste Purusham Tvadyam, I've already addressed. You are free to do what you want to do and you will do also. And you know what is good for us. But it will be very nice if you can stay. But actually, this is noted by Krishna. And he will stay back. Why? Because Yudhishthira also will come and say the same thing. As he's leaving, he'll come and say, I can't take it. And then you will also see that actually it is Krishna only who is doing this to him to make him feel very bad. So he will stay back because Yudhishthira will say, please stay for a few days more, don't go now. I am going through a great depression. Because of me only this war has happened. 640 million people died in the Kurukshetra war. How much? 640 million people. It is half of the population of India today. Half of the population of India. And we think already we are overpopulated, this and all that. Just one war, in 18 days they killed 640 million people. How much they would have killed per second? If you calculate, 640 million people, 18 days into 24 hours. I did that once, I don't know the figure. Per hour, how many people they would have killed? 640 million divided by 18 into 24. It has jet set. There is no nuclear power that they did not use. Just with swords and arrows and brahmastra and whatever. They did it. Each one killing each other. This is real world war. Not the other puny things which are calling World War I, World War II. They have yet to see the real world war. So naturally Yudhishthira is thinking, I am the reason for this. 640 million people died. So he was feeling very bad. That also is happening. But Kunti Devi is saying that, Prabhupada is saying here that Pandavas are most fortunate. To think like this, to feel like this, to be hankering for the association of the Lord means you are very fortunate. If you are able to depend on the Lord, you are very fortunate. That's the most important point here, Prabhupada bringing out very brilliantly. Why is Kunti Devi saying this? Prabhupada is saying, see how fortunate she is. Because she's saying this. She's feeling this and saying this. Don't go, be with us. You have to feel like that, really. Right? We are feeling, when will I finish my rounds? I want to go. I don't want to be with you. Krishna, can I stop chanting my rounds? I like to go, other things I like to do. So Prabhupada says that is misfortune. Because we always want to associate with something apart from Krishna. And he says here that is the greatest misfortune. So this language and this whole, philosophical understanding is completely opposite to what we do in this world. Right? So what are the instances and how is it that it is like this? So that means the Pandavas were actually having a very good time throughout their bad time. That's what you should understand. When they were in the forest and this thing and all that, they were actually having a very good time. Why? Completely sheltered by Krishna. Any time they can call upon Krishna. And he's right there at the beck and call. Right? So what we think is bad time turns out to be a good time, really speaking, for devotees. And what we think is a good time actually is a bad time. Is actually a bad time. That is the meaning of Krishna telling in Bhagavad Gita. What shloka he told that? What shloka he told that? Suddenly it is changed to quiz now. Wrong. Which shloka he said day and night? Okay, you got it. Don't sleep, I'll keep asking you questions. Yanisha sarva bhutanam yasyam jag. So he's telling that what is night for the materialists is daytime for the devotees, spiritualists. And what is daytime for the spiritualists is night for the devotees. He's trying to indicate that it is opposite, 180 degrees apart. So Prabhupada is saying, what is misfortune, what is fortune really? In absolute sense, if you're not Krishna consciousness, if you're not in Krishna consciousness, that is the greatest misfortune. Now, do we understand that? Do we understand that? Do we understand that this is what Kunti Devi is actually feeling and expressing? Finished. Now we are very unfortunate. You will go and we will be with all the enemies. We will be, and you will also separate from us. And we will have to sit and handle all that without you. The thing is not that, oh, enemies. That's not the misfortune. Enemies, all the Pandavas can handle. They have killed so many people now. It's not that they're afraid of enemies. No. You have to handle them without you. That is the misfortune. We've been handling them all along with you. And we have been very fortunate. Now you have to handle them without you. That is our great misfortune. Why don't you stay back? Obviously, Krishna cannot stay back and babysit you throughout. I don't have only 5 Pandavas as my children that I do babysitting throughout. Okay, I'll stay here. Krishna will go. But what we should see and understand is the situation that Kunti Devi is in, which Prabhupada states, very fortunate situation. Very fortunate situation. So many times we are feeling very bad in Krishna consciousness. It may be a very good time as per Krishna. But because of our material disposition, we don't see it as good. We don't see it as good. We don't know how to judge it. Yeah. Sometimes devotees come and ask me, this happened, that happened, this happened. I said, oh, everything is happening nice only for you. Actually, because you're chanting your japa, you're coming for a program, this happened, that happened, that happened. In between this all happens, very nice. You tell me that I'm not chanting my japa, then I say, oh gosh, in great misfortune. Why? I'm not interested actually. Have you seen people there? This fellow is really finished. But he looks very happy. I just came for the Sunday program. Once upon a time I was chanting 16 rounds. And I was reading the Bhagavatam. But I stopped. I don't feel anything bad about it. I just came, I brought my, wife and children for the, I remembered after 5 years that there was a place I used to go to before. So I just came. Now you know what is misfortune. I said, stop chanting. Why did you stop chanting? I moved out from here, I got a better job and, now I am earning a lot. And all that he'll talk everything about his material life. He'll never talk about his Krishna consciousness. But he looks very happy. This is my kid, this is this thing. Bless him. And this is misfortune. But for him it looks like, wow, I'm doing very good, not just an idiot chanting 16 rounds a day and sitting and doing some arati like you guys are doing. I stopped all that long back, by the way, in case you want to know. I am doing fine. This is misfortune. How will we judge it? It's misfortune. Fortune is when a devotee comes and says, I am getting a Mangalarti, I am chanting my japa, I am reading, and I am also feeding everybody prasadam in the house, and this is also happening, that's also happening. But, this happened, that happened, this happened. It's then you feel very good. You're doing good actually. You're doing good. You're actually doing good. But these things all will disappear, don't have to worry. This is how it is. So many times people come and tell me these things, I just see the pulse. This is good spiritual and maintaining everything. This will pass through. It will pass through. It happens, it goes like this. That's not important. The central core is going on nicely. It's good. It's good. I call that, you see, sometimes people have their life wrapped around Krishna consciousness. Sometimes they have their Krishna consciousness wrapped around their life. You get the point? No. My activities rotate around the centerpiece of my Krishna consciousness. Or my Krishna consciousness rotates around my center activity, which is this. Which one is correct? Which will make you fortunate? Which will make you unfortunate? If you allow your Krishna consciousness to adjust the way I live my life, means Krishna consciousness has to adjust to your life. Or should you adjust your life to the centerpiece of Krishna consciousness? This is a basic thing you should look into it. Whether you are able to adjust properly. There is a lot of shade here, by the way. I know you're all waiting for a huge crowd to come and fill in the front. And that's why you're going through the austerity of the sun. That's what I mean by misfortune. You understand? So, how do we see fortune and misfortune? That's why we need another person to tell us, no, you go ahead, you're doing okay. Everything will become all right. That's what we want to hear. We want to get blessings. A devotee wants to hear this. No, it'll become all right. You go ahead and you keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. Actually, he also knows I am doing my best. And my so-called material life is around my Krishna consciousness. It's actually troubling me a little bit now. But that will get settled because my center is Paka. My center is Paka. When you weaken your center, Krishna consciousness, then things can happen to you. But Kunti Devi, you see, is exactly centerpiece of Krishna consciousness. She's also trying, can I also get you? She's very intelligently saying, can you also continue to stay with me? One last chance, let me just, parting shot, let me ask you whether you'll also be with me. So, in effect, fortune, misfortune. Prabhupada explained the greatest fortune is the association of a devotee. Prabhupada explains that. And many acharyas in the past have explained that. Your life changes because of good fortune. Everything changes in your life because of good fortune, not because of lottery ticket. You hit the lottery ticket, it's not fortune. It may be actually quite a bit of misfortune. Big people, great personalities, I see that. They've made huge money, billions of dollars. But their personal life, I don't want to mention names, but their personal life, boom, all of a sudden goes down. Why? Because the centerpiece, their personal life, gets attacked by Maya and everything crumbles. Everything simply crumbles overnight. How Krishna does it to show them that, no, this is not stable. This is not stable. When Prabhupada's business crashed, it was not like one of these big high-tech business crashing. When his business crashed, he started smiling. This is the difference between where the centerpiece is and where it is. You see, great, I'm hearing here, Maharaj, you know, this so-and-so techie fellows, this thing gone, his wife, this thing that happened, this happened. So I am saying that what else do you expect for him? It's just a matter of time. It's supposed to happen now or then it will happen. But when Prabhupada's business crashed, he suddenly became relaxed and started smiling. And he quoted the shloka, Yasyaham anugrahanami harishe tadhanam shanai. He said, one on whom I want to show my mercy, I will take away everything from him. Prabhupada said and he settled down, completely surrendered to Krishna. He never came back to his business. He went to much bigger business. He went to much bigger business because in his horoscope and this thing is written, you will become like Birla. It's in those days. You are like, you got the horoscope of a Birla, somebody, you make money like nothing, you will become famous, you will like, big assets. Big assets. So, Prabhupada went all over the world and created the greatest asset for humankind. Both for himself and actually even now Prabhupada is the richest person in the world, according to me. Materially also he is rich. Actually, quietly he is becoming richer and richer. Nobody knows. Creeping up, slowly creeping up. And he is doing it. Krishna is doing it. The greatest wealth is Bhakti, and he has marketed it. And every other type of wealth will follow. Every other type of wealth will follow. This is very nicely explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami. He says, when the queen marches, all the maids will go with her. Immediately all the maids will go with her. So he speaks about the queen of Bhakti. When she marches, all other assistants will immediately go behind. All other assistants will go behind. Fortune. This is fortune. So, all of us are very fortunate. We don't see it. We don't appreciate it. We don't appreciate it. We must have special understanding and discuss it, how fortunate I am. If you keep discussing how unfortunate I am that I don't have this money, I don't have this property, I don't have this wealth, I don't have this, type of a nice material situation, then it will weigh you down very much. We don't discuss bhakti and the possession of bhakti and the great fortune of possession of bhakti. We don't hype it. Each one of us quietly change their rounds and keep quiet. We don't talk about it much. The rest of the time we are talking about all other material things. Right? But actually we should propagate and do propaganda for bhakti. So, my gosh, Krishna did. Krishna made a big hype when Sudama came and gave him. He didn't give him also. He snatched from him. He snatched from him. Sudama was thinking in a different way. But Krishna once said, don't you dare think like this. It is bhakti. You have bought for me. And then that shloka, I forget that. I keep forgetting shlokas now. He says that, you bought this for me. Oh, my dear Brahmana, is it true that you brought this for me? And he opens it. He makes a big noise about it. Right? Kinchit, that's why later he recollects that. So why did he make such a big noise about this? Kinchit karoti uropi sudatta matram. Falgu api bhurikari. Falgu api bhurikari. He made small things out of the big things he did for me. What all he did for me? He had me take bath, special bath. He had me sleep on a huge silk bed of his. He gave me a feast, gave me new clothes, and massaged my feet, washed my feet. He did so many things. Bhurikari, falguapi. He made it nothing. But kinchit karoti. I bought some under my armpit. I'm carrying it, stinky stuff. Flat rice for so many days. I'm walking and coming from somewhere. He said, you bought this for me? My gosh, what a wonderful thing you bought for me. Kinchit karoti uruapi. He made it so big. He made it so big. Krishna is doing it. He must do it. You must speak big of bhakti. Every time somebody does something small, you did this. Same thing we should follow. You should see Prabhupada doing that in the initial stages. You will see that famous in the Leelamrita, you will see classes going on. One devotee, I forget his name, starting with J. There is no toilet paper in the toilet. The toilet roll. So in the middle of the class, he will bring the two toilet rolls, stepping on everybody like that, in front of Prabhupada. Prabhupada will say, how nice! You bought the toilet roll? So nice! Wonderful! Thank you! Now he's telling in between the class. He's making it, see, he's doing devotional service. So nice of you. He's telling everybody, this is devotional service to the Lord. He bought toilet paper in the toilet. And he's disturbing the middle of the class also. But he is doing seva. He made a big thing of it. He made a big thing. Everybody understood. I'll also bring something tomorrow. I'll also do devotional service for the Lord. Not because Prabhupada wants it. Getting them engaged in it. Getting them engaged in appreciating devotional service. Appreciating it. So we don't hype it much. It's all books, okay, announce the score. It's a big thing in this material world to drop a book on somebody's lap and he becomes Krishna conscious. After so many janmas, he's becoming, and the book is a big historical thing happening. It's a historical thing. Everything that devotees do are history, actually, to be recorded inside this material world. But somehow we don't bother much. We get too busy doing the things. That's why sometimes Krishna stops you. Let me enjoy the bhakti that you're doing with you. Stops you because he wants to enjoy it with you. It's not some ordinary thing that you're doing. It's not your regular routine work that you're doing. That you have done for so many janmas. It's not even recorded anywhere. Of course, Chitragupta may be having some records. It's not even worth it. I don't even look at it. But this is record. Because why? Swalpamapiyasya dharmasya trayate mahado bhayat. It started. You started doing absolute service. Not anymore in the relative period, in the relative realm. Absolute you're doing. That is what is important. So Krishna, he is speaking very big about even small things. And you can see all his pastimes are like a little service somebody did. Don't think it is small. Don't think it is small. For me it is very important. Very important. Because rarely does the soul get an opportunity to do pure devotional service. It's very rare. But Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada has created a situation where anybody and everybody can somehow stumble upon devotional service and do it in some way or the other. And in this way he will start his journey back home, back to God. So do not think small about all these services that each one of you will be doing. Maybe we don't have the time to sit and encourage and acknowledge and preach, but we must. Sometimes we're getting busy. But these are not ordinary activities. If you look at the whole list of activities that Kunti Devi is speaking about, they are all interactions with Krishna and his mercy. But the Pandavas are doing so many things. All of them are pure devotional service. Whether Arjuna went and married Ulupi, or he married Hidimbi, or he fell in love with somebody and then Krishna said, don't worry, I will get Subhadra for you. All this is pure devotional service. All this is pure devotion. Krishna is involved in telling Arjuna, you like my sister, huh? Parvala, I'll get her for you. This is all going on in between. Perfectly normal for Krishna. And so many other things also going on. At the same time, it is the same Arjuna standing on the battlefield and saying, I know how to shoot. Bhishma standing in front of me. I'm not able to do this thing. And he took it on himself. All the shots on himself. He wounded himself on his chest. He wounded himself for the sake of, as a seva for Arjuna. It is not ordinary, these type of things. All these things were happening. Everything is pure devotional service, obviously. Everything the Pandavas are involved in. Why? They don't think about anybody else, anything else but Krishna. They don't think about anything else, anybody else. So this is what is our original constitutional position. We don't have to think about anybody else. Because Krishna is the only reality. There's no other reality. We are in the other reality, thinking these things are real. They are not. We're going to die. That's okay. Let's think positively about it. And again, the toxic, useless positivism. Be positive, be positive. Motivational speakers telling you to be. Don't worry, you will achieve it. I will give you a course, an 8-day sessions on how you'll be successful in this life, and all that. I just want your money actually. There's no success because I am already suffering. Although I'm teaching success to you, I am suffering. There's no success in my life. Everybody is not giving you the raw picture that it's all useless. That's the thing about the material world. It's all negative only. Nothing very positive. Only positive thing is devotees, association, Krishna consciousness, devotional service. Otherwise, everything is pretty bad. Because like I always say, it's a tragedy. In the end, everybody dies. In the end, everybody dies. It's not like all the movies you see, the hero and the heroine in the end, and the closing scene, they are both in the beach. And a big sound comes out and the titles come out. And everybody takes out of their chairs. I wish this movie went on for another 3 more hours. And a happy ending. Wow, let's go back home. And then life changes at home. We want that to happen throughout our life. But life is the direct opposite of that. It's completely tragic. Why are you covering it up? Tell the whole world it's useless. This is what is real life. Tell the people. Why don't we tell the truth? This is one person who said it openly to everybody. That's all nonsense. You will die in the end. Why don't you understand? He tells very clearly, shockingly. And the people like this person, but he speaks very harsh. But I like him. He speaks the truth very nicely. Prabhupada is like that. Sadhu means cut. Sadhu means one whose words are sharp. Sadhu does not mean, how are you? Very nice. I bless you. You may take, long life. You should live for 150 years. All the people are dying now by 90 years. You should live for 150 years. Thank you so much here. I'll give you some more donation. Okay, I'll make it 200. Give me some more. It's all nonsense going on. Nobody has the guts to say the truth. Man, you're suffering day and night. Can't you see? Can't you see? It's because you can't see. Why? Because you don't know your real position. When you know your real position, you can compare it and see you're actually suffering. So I wake you up. I do good to you. I tell you, stop it. They are fooling you. They are fooling you. So reality should be spoken out. Reality should be lived. Reality should be hyped. Reality should be publicized and made a propaganda of all over. Whether you like it or not, whether only a small percentage believe it or not, doesn't matter. This is what is Sankirtana. Sankirtana means telling Krishna is great, Krishna's words are great, his name is great, his form is great, this thing is great. Everybody look at what? Funny fellows. But that's the truth. Everything that you are thinking is not the truth. This is the hard fact of life. And to understand it, it requires some training. It requires some training. Throughout this Kunti prayers, you will see that she has completely understood it. She wants that only. She's telling, even my material affection I have for my sons, also cut it. That little bit is there, that also cut it. I want to remain completely on the reality. I don't want any falsity in my life. I had enough of all these things. So really speaking, what is the truth? What is the reality? That you can see here. Where there is Krishna, where there is Krishna consciousness, you are real. You may not register it yet because you're not developed in Krishna consciousness. But whenever you are touching Krishna, you're chanting the holy name, you're reading the Bhagavatam, you're associating with devotees, your mind is trying to minimize it and say, now what did you get out of it? It would have been much better to have seen this movie for 2 hours than attending Maharaja's class. It would have been exciting. It would have been, 3D, 8D sound. You could have heard all this. No, you lost all that. The mind is always minimizing everything. You should simply do it. That's why the Bhagavatam says, even if you don't do it properly, even if you fail in achieving the purpose of it, still you are successful. Why? Because you have attempted it. You have got stuck to it. Because you are doing it. That is victory. That itself is initial victory. So don't listen to your mind. It was consistently programmed to diminish the reality and promote the illusion. And the mind has got an infinite capacity to materialize anything under the sun, including your spiritual life. It will be constantly doing this to you. Although you are chanting Hare Krishna and the absolute truth is on your tongue, it will say the opposite to you. So about the 2 dogs who are always inside you with their loud voices. One is the bad dog and one is the good dog. Always the bad dog's voice is very loud. That is conditioned life. Material life means the bad dog is very loud voice. Spiritual life means making the good dog's voice very loud. Automatically the bad dog will become a squeak. Will become an incoherent squeak. Poda, I don't listen to you. I don't take programming from you. I don't take prompts from you. I listen to what Krishna has told me. Antaryami Krishna is prompting you from inside. That is the real voice. That is the real voice. It keeps you in reality. So you will see in all these wonderful pastimes, these are all devotees who are settled for the good dog and the good voice. His master's voice, HMV. In my younger days, that was like the record player. You remember HMV? They were the great producers of albums and LPs. His master's voice. But I joined the movement, I realized that my master's voice, Krishna's voice, Krishna's voice. We should listen to that. We should listen to that. You will see all the Pandavas are trained like that. They live naturally like that. That's why they are all Nitya Muktas. You put them in any situation in the material world, it will never affect them. They'll keep hearing the good voice and keep doing devotional service. Inside the ditch also you put them, they'll be doing devotional service. Swarga apavarga narakeshu api tulyartha darshana. You put them in hell, they have no value for anything but Narayana Parayana Sarve na kutaschana vidyati. They will never get afraid because with them they have the Supreme Lord. They are absorbed in that Supreme Lord. So what is fortune? What is misfortune? What is good for me? What is not good for me? That's why you need Guru. That's why you need spiritual master. On your own, you will never be able to understand these things. You'll get carried away by the mind. Constantly you'll get carried away. So we all need the shelter of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's instructions. Whenever you feel this way, that way, if you open the Bhagavatam and start reading, you will see immediately in half an hour's time you feel, I want to conquer the world. You get up and you will feel, wow, I am ready to go ahead. You will feel that. It's because of the powerful association you will get from Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So, Kunti Devi is saying, I will lose your association. But Krishna knows, you won't lose my association. You're very absorbed in me. I'll always be with you. Prabhupada said, I'll never die. I will live eternally in my books. Which means that you can always have Prabhupada's association by reading his books. Carefully. Everything is in Prabhupada. He said it. Everything is in my books. Everything is in my books. We don't have to go anywhere else. You just have to read Prabhupada's purport and Krishna will be there with you. Prabhupada will be there with you. Scrutinizingly read, sincerely read. And from that same line which you have been reading, newer and newer realizations will come. Wow. You would keep reading the same, I am not this body. Each time you read it, you'll get a different understanding of it, of a different depth. It's because it's a pure devotee's words. And it's infused with Krishna consciousness. So, all these things are not to be taken lightly. We should indulge in Krishna consciousness. We should actually indulge in Krishna consciousness by reading, chanting, discussing, serving in different ways. Serving does not mean that only I will read and chant. Also, here it is mentioned, you see, working hard, where is it? Pandavas were the goodwill of Lord Krishna, but they were not idle parasites of the Lord. Very interesting. They were highly qualified both by personal character and by physical activities. Still, they always looked for the mercy of the Lord because they knew that every living being is dependent on its constitutional position. Perfection of life is therefore to become dependent on the will of the Lord instead of becoming falsely independent in the material world. Where is that? I forgot. Maybe he not.
Highest achievement of perfect civilization to work with valor, same time depend completely on previous sentence.
Yeah, the highest achievement of perfect civilization is to work with valor, but at the same time depend completely on the Lord. Pandavas were the ideal executors of this standard of civilization. In another place, Prabhupada says, you must simply work hard depending on Krishna. I don't know this.
Previous line, but the highest goal of human civilization is to work hard under guidance.
But same Prabhupada?
Same.
Yeah, very
Previous
same.
line. What you read previously.
Yeah. But the highest goal of human life is to work hard under the guidance of the Lord and become completely dependent on Him. The highest achievement of perfect civilization is to work under valor, but at the same time depend completely on the Lord. Don't become idle parasites of the mercy of the Lord. Kunti Devi is not an idle parasite. Please sit with me and keep giving me mercy. I'll do nothing. You give me mercy. Like Prabhupada, I quoted that instance to you of somebody running down. Prabhupada came in the lift and got into the car. Everybody is, doing kirtan and all that. But this devotee came down the staircase, tumbling down. Prabhupada, 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 and made a big noise. And others are looking at him. He came running to Prabhupada and sat down in the car. Save me, save me. Prabhupada lowered the glass and said, I will save you, but you have to work hard. He put his glass up. He put his glass up. He immediately knew what this person is thinking. He's thinking that he can continue to do whatever I'm doing, and Prabhupada's mercy will change everything for me. No, he said you have to work hard. You also have to do your work, and the mercy of the Lord also will be there. My mercy also will be there. So, we need to take these purports so loaded with meaning, all of them. So loaded. Practically in our life and execute them. Life will become a different thing altogether in Krishna consciousness. This is Krishna consciousness living. It's an art. How to live inside this material world depending on Krishna. We have to learn it so that we can teach it to others. Om Tat Sat. Somehow I managed to finish it. Any question or comment?
How to lead a life, practically how to lead a life completely dependent on the Lord. How to understand that we are progressing in that path.
That is why we must do sadhana first. It is not that just by reading, assimilating a lot of knowledge, we will know how to do. Krishna's instruction to Arjuna is, Itite jnanam akyatam guhyat guhyattaram maya. In the 18th chapter it says, I've given you knowledge which is very confidential. Number 2, what you should do? Vimrishyeta yaseshena. Now think about it carefully and understand it properly. Then, number 3, yadi ichhasi tata kuru. Now you go and do. You must understand, you must gather knowledge, then you must understand it nicely, then you must do. Because after that you will get Vigyan. You will get realization. When you get realization, your life will become enriched. The doing, using your mind, senses, intelligence, body, wealth, everything, and doing for Krishna, that matters very much. That matters very much. It cannot be only on the plane of I know. You know. So what have you done about it? No, I know. That you will remain here knowing only. The point is, I know is not enough. K-N-O-W-L-E-D-G-E is not enough. You will just know. Prabhupada explained that very brilliantly. In the Nectar of Devotion talk, he's saying, you may know somebody, but that is not enough. So what is he saying? You may know somebody. Knowing somebody is not enough. You may develop your friendship with him to a deeper level and develop an intimate relationship. Then you really enjoy knowing him. Prabhupada explained this very nicely. Many times we said you can know Krishna and you can also go beyond that. You can love Krishna and Krishna will reciprocate with you. So it is not the same knowing Krishna and dynamically loving Krishna and Krishna reciprocating with you. So when you see Yashoda Mai tying up Krishna angrily, it is not just knowledge, it goes much beyond knowledge. Knowledge alone, they left it back somewhere. Knowledge no, not required. Not required anymore. You see that? They are swimming in complete intimate activity to do with love of Krishna, with Krishna. That's not easy. So, one thing is to learn. We are in the learning stage. We must exercise it constantly. That's why two things you must do is to vimrishya. You must constantly try what does Prabhupada mean here by saying this? What is this verse actually trying to tell me? Because for different people, according to their level and capacity, they'll understand it differently, in different levels. And then it should inspire you to do. And when you do, you get another level of understanding. Then again you come back and read, you get another level of understanding. Then again you do, in a spiral you keep going up. It goes like a spiral up. That same thing that you read. Knowledge has no limit and realization has no limit in Krishna consciousness. So that is where is the real thing. The real thing is not gathering a lot of information. The real thing is using what information you have, deliberating on it, acting on it, discussing it, understanding it, and praying to Krishna and moving up the spiral of your depth of Krishna consciousness. Then life becomes enriched. Then you become enthused. You become excited about even the small things that you can do in Krishna consciousness. You don't need to build a huge project to become very excited. You can just offer a flower and feel damn thrilled. Sometimes you wonder, these devotees, I just gave a, but he's very happy. He's very happy. You see in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, you will see that small service, something he did. And he is, why is Sudama so thrilled about just bought some 3 handful of rice? He is enjoying the highest ecstasy which I am not enjoying or you are all not enjoying by all the things that we may be doing. Why? That old gamu of activity is missing. Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So live Krishna consciousness to the depth. That we should do. Any other question or comment?
Maharaj, sometimes we will be more focusing on material and
Only sometimes you are doing? Okay. You must be a devotee.
most
Great.
of the time, and we don't have the time to do the sadhana like chanting 16 and everything. At that time, what we have to do, Maharaj? We have to leave that thing and focus on sadhana, or
No, but this is something that you should tell me. Which is more important for you?
but doing that things, it can earning money, or it will be saving for our family and everything that goes on.
Of course that is required. There is no doubt it's required. But you should balance it. You have to learn to balance it. This is important, that's also important. But we cannot sacrifice our center for the sake of the periphery. The soul and the body. You know you are the soul, not the body. So, don't you think if the soul is not there, there is no body? Isn't it? So, will you do things for the body so much that the soul will die? This foolishness. Then all your investments in your body also is gone. So you'll actually balance it. At least I should live. So balance means you have to put a stop on certain things, not beyond this. Sadhana means learning when to stop and how to protect your spiritual life. That's also a part of sadhana. Now don't tell me that, no, it's impossible for me to do like this, like this, like this. Then I don't know any secret mantra that can expand beyond 24 hours of time and give you more flexibility. Normally possible for us to pay importance to our spiritual life, and everything else moves around it. There's enough time for everything else. That's why, first things first. First thing in the morning, chant the japa. Finish off the most important things. Then after that you can relax. The rest of the things will fall into shape by themselves. That's the way the world works. But if you don't do your japa in the morning, no, in the evening it will become yugayitam nimishena. One round will take one yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Epada mudiyum. Why is it taking so long? Here in the morning it could have 7.5 minutes. Now it is 15 minutes till one round is not over. Why? What happened? I don't know. This is something. That's the funny thing about it. Because you're not paid attention and made it the central piece. You suffer for it. Double the time. Punishment. Better finish it in the morning and make that the center. And then everything else will automatically fall. Other things you don't need to regulate after that. They'll all fall in place correctly by Krishna's arrangement. Because you have taken care of the main thing. That you should have faith in. It works exactly like that. Ask anybody, they'll tell you the magic of sadhana with priority. Okay? Any other question or comment? You have been verandifying in the sun for a long time. So you may want to also take some prasadam and come to normal, regular life. Breathe fresh air, eat the prasadam, enjoy the life a little bit. Om Tat Sat. Happy Prasad.